It's a very exciting week here on Rhema because we have partnered up with World Vision to change some lives.
We have. Looking forward to this, and we'd love for you to get amongst it. We're wanting to get as many kids sponsored as we possibly can this week. But at the moment, we have got Kate Elton, who is the head of marketing at World Vision, on the phone. Good morning, Kate.
Morena, thanks for having me.
Morena, it is great to have you on. This is such an exciting week. You must be stoked. Hopefully we can get heaps of kids sponsored.
Yeah, we're so excited for the week ahead and obviously for the lives that are going to be changed, both in India but also right here in New Zealand. Like it's just, super exciting.
Yeah, so tell us, what is it about India in particular that caused it to be the focus of the campaign this year?
Yeah, look, the focus for the Chosen campaign that we're doing with you guys is really because the fallout from COVID-19 is just causing such a deepening hunger crisis in the country. So, you've been talking a little bit about it this morning, Nerida, but, 17.3% of the children under the age of 5, that's like 20 million children in India, are wasting, which is basically, becoming weaker from hunger and more emancipated. And then you've got 34.7% of children under the age of 5 are stunted. That's like about 18 million children. So, the need is just huge. And when we were sort of, thinking about, well, what can we do? This sort of felt like a really natural and the right fit to be talking about.
The incredible thing is when you talk about percentages, that's actually millions and millions and millions of kids. That is quite staggering numbers. And it's just so massive that it feels like, well, it just almost feels overwhelming, like too big for us to actually make any difference.
I know, but that's what the beauty, I think, of child sponsorship actually is. It's like this really unique and special invitation to make a change in the life of one child. And I think, even if through this whole campaign we only got one child sponsored, that would actually mean so much to that one child and their family.
Yeah.
And so I think, when you're kind of hearing the stories that we're going to share over the week and kind of thinking about what it is that you can do, I think it's just so important to remember that you can actually have an impact and you can change the life of one child. And like, how incredible and amazing and important is that? Like there's so much that needs to be done, but the fact that you can actually do something, provide the tools for a family to kind of start to move away from a life of real poverty is such an empowering and exciting invitation.
Yeah, and the ripple effects of this kind of thing are pretty incredible as well. Like even as something you alluded to there and something that impressed me too when I really started to understand the impact of child sponsorship is that you think about a child who, say, might otherwise have been, say, stunted both, physically, but even in terms of their own, cognitive development as well. That can hold them back into the future and the kind of work that they can do, the kind of family that they can support. So really by doing this, it's not even just about, hey, I'm meeting a need for now, but you really are helping to elevate an entire community just by, if nothing else, making sure that the people there are healthy and are able to work and provide for their families into the future as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I honestly couldn't have said it better, Andrew. Like, yeah, it's just such an exciting, program and such an exciting way to, I guess, as you say, break that real cycle of poverty and kind of change lives, not just now, but into the future.
And so one of the things too that's been so cool about this particular program is that the kids are, choosing their sponsors now, which is just such an amazing development. And I know there's already been some stories as well of the connection that's been forged between the kids because they're able to choose somebody who maybe is in a position that they aspire to be or, creates that extra point of connection. Have you got a few stories like that you can share with us this morning?
Yeah, I think one of you mentioned earlier this morning about one of the young kids who chose a sponsor because they were a lawyer and they wanted to be a lawyer. And I just think, it's kind of being able to sort of see, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And I just think that's such a cool, powerful story. A couple of my friends were chosen late last year, and it was just they were chosen because they had beautiful smiles and cute faces, and I just thought, what a pure and gorgeous reason just to choose someone and to know that those people with gorgeous smiles and cute faces are thinking about them on the other side of the world. So it is a really personal, special connection, and as I sort of said, we're going to change lives, not just for kids in India, but also for your listeners, for Kiwis. I know my life has certainly been changed being a child sponsor. So yeah, it is a really powerful experience for the kids, but also for us here in New Zealand.
So, Kate, tell us how it actually works. How does the chosen part of it work?
Yeah, so when you sign up to be chosen, your photo is actually sent over to our amazing team that works in India. So we've got lots of amazing community workers that kind of run all of our programming, and they set up a party for the kids to come along to, and your photos are sort of hung up, as you sort of see on the website. It's exactly like that. And then these kids come in one by one, and they often with their parent or a caregiver, and they actually choose a picture that sort of speaks to them, and then they will write a little letter to you and tell you why you've been chosen. And then a couple of days after that choosing party, you'll receive that letter or that email, and then both lives have been changed, and you can go forward from that point.
Wow. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty amazing. And I know that the community that we've chosen for this Rhema party are super excited. Like, they know exactly what's happening. They've been helping us get all ready, and they're just really, really excited for the 10th of April to roll around.
That's so cool. So it's $50 a month, is that right?
Yep, $50 a month.
And how does that work? Like, what is happening with that $50? Where does that go?
Yeah, so that money goes towards our holistic programming. So, it's not just $50 kind of going into one child's hands. The way that World Vision works is we have a range of different programming approaches depending on what the community itself needs. So that could be anything from, sort of like livelihoods, water, food, and we just make sure that that it's not sort of one child benefiting. So for every child that's sponsored, 4 more children actually benefit in that community, which is super exciting. Yeah. So it's a really, holistic approach to ensuring that we're breaking the cycle of poverty. So, if you've got parents that are economically supported, that means food security, that means kids can go to school, they're not having to be pulled out to go to work. Which means they get a really good education. And so you can kind of start to see how that cycle of poverty gets broken.
Oh, Kate, it's just such an incredible thing. And we love the developments that have occurred in just the way World Vision is approaching child sponsorship. And like you say, you're not just changing one child's life, you're changing a whole community. So we'd encourage everybody over the course of this week, if you're in a position where you can sponsor a child, or at least put your hand up to say, I want to be chosen.
Yeah.
I mean, think of the buzz you'd get when you get that notification,
know.
right?
We all want to be chosen, don't we? That's so cool. Hey, Kate, does anybody not get chosen?
No. That's why we had 100% strike rate.
Oh, that's good.
Chosen.
Oh, so if you want to get involved, head to the Rhema website. It's rhema.co.nz, and you can click on the banner there. Hey, thank you so much, Kate. Really great to chat this morning.